Hello. This is another episode of Cybercrowd. We are doing episode 2 of the second season. We'll do a combination of bumper music here. I think that's good. Simona Petra and my little sticks here. Well, it's Veterans Day, so I watched war movies, of course. What war movies did you guys watch? I started out with Zulu, which, it's a British movie, but it's very appropriate to. That's one of the actions that 11 Victoria Crosses were handed out to various people in the battle. But of course, I also watched Saving Private Ryan, which is storming Normandy Beach, World War II, Dundee Day. But of course, I did want to still do my little episode here because I've been working on this blog post. What are the cybersecurity risks for small businesses? What should small businesses do about cyber attacks? And for that, you need to know your risks. So, risk is impact times likelihood. That's in my book, Too Late, You're Hacked. I discussed that at length. There's a chapter about that. It's because it's important to know what your risks are, so that way you can focus on various devices that need to have more focus. Maybe it also keeps you in mind of why you're doing what you're doing. So let's backtrack a little bit. Part of the second season is I want to make everything less complicated. So let's talk about this aspect of the small business and risk. So what is impact in a small business? So if you have a machine, a server that has, it doesn't have to be a server, it could be your own system, but let's say it has some data on it that is important. So impact is easier to figure out because what is it that would happen if you lost that machine? What would happen? What's the impact? So now you have to figure out, I lost the machine. I'm going back to square one. I have to use paper. I have to recreate the data. I have to go back to a backup. Do I have a backup? Does it work? So what is the impact when I lost that system? So, the thing is risk isn't just about impact. It's also the likelihood of something happening. Okay, it is complicated because you have to figure out what are the possible avenues of attack, or we call them vectors. What are the possible methods that a hacker can use to get into your system and then cause it to fail, like ransomware, for example? So check this guy out. This hacker has created the Raccoon malware, the malware called Raccoon. It stole 50 million credentials across the internet, and then he sold them. That's why he's got a wad of cash right here, Here's my wad of cash. I'm cool. So, so he created the malware. He got all those credentials, and then he sold them. And then actually he started selling the access to the malware. He made it like a malware as a service. He had his little cloud He was starting to sell it like $200. If you wanted to use it, you'd have to pay $200. Apparently, a lot of hackers want to use his malware, his methodology. I think it's down now. I think the authorities have gotten to it. But anyway, going back to the small business. So what happens if you don't? Your credentials are your username and password. So if somebody has your username and password, what happens to your system? Somebody has your username and password. They potentially could run on your system and install something. If they install something, it could be malware, and if it's malware, it can run ransomware. So what is the likelihood of those series of events happening? So, if you only use the system once a week, then obviously it's not much of a likelihood. But let's say you use it every day and you use it for email, and you're opening all kinds of messages from various different people. Maybe one of these days you open up a phishing email. So the likelihood started out low, but then it started getting higher. And this is just one avenue of attack. The enterprising hacker is what I call them. They live in a low law environment, so that you can't really depend on the authorities to catch these people. And they're basically showered with money. There's the nation states. That's another avenue of attack. I call them the CRINC, the China, Russia, Iran, North Korea. So the nation states also try to get money. Like North Korea, that's how they make money. They don't get money any other way. That's how they get hard currency. So their leader can get the latest wine bottles and stuff like that. But China and Russia are also trying to get information or to steal intellectual property. Especially if your business is in the defense industry or some kind of industry that China and Russia are interested in, like healthcare. There's many different industries, so it depends on whether they're interested in your industry or not. But you still have to worry about the nation states because the reason they're high impact is in the higher the thing with the low medium probability is depends on your industry. So if you're in the defense industry, the probability goes higher. So that's the nation states. They're very sophisticated, or they can be. Then there's the activists, what I call the anonymous activists, the guys that you don't know where they're coming from. They're basically running around. They're kind of sophisticated, but they're generally trying to prove a point. They're taking down your website. They're defacing your website. They're not really going to run ransomware. So they're not really that dangerous in my mind. The risk from them is not as high as from the nation states or the criminal hackers. Now, if you insiders and script kiddies, your IT department should be able to handle the script kiddies, because those people don't really know that much. They're using very basic tools to attack you, and if you can be hacked by the script kiddies, you're in trouble. So your IT department better be able to handle this. The thing is it's high impact because if somebody does get in and does something, they could destroy stuff because they didn't really know what's going on. I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong button. So the reason it's high impact is because of the insider nature of the threat. So as you know, we're in many different. I'm on the different social media these days. I'm on Rumble. I have the CyberCrowd podcast on Spotify. I have my website, Fix Virus. This is going to be on the Fix Virus website, not the. I also have Oversight Sentry. I do a variety of different things. I try to help people figure out the cybersecurity thing. So we'll come back. Thanks to all the veterans today. Besides watching more movies, we of course are very thankful for their service. We had the 2 minutes of silence, and I especially remember the original reason that this was Armistice Day. On 11/11, 11 p.m. in Europe, the World War I ended, or at least there was an armistice. They stopped the fighting. But in general, there might have been a little bit more fighting. But anyway, so they wrote, "This is the armistice today." So and eventually it became the Veterans Day. So, anyways, I appreciate you listening. Let me know what you think of the new format. Let me know if you think I'm making it good enough, simple enough, or what should I be talking about next? What do you think? I'm going to put this in a few different spots this weekend. So thanks. Here's a little bit of music, bumper music by the Simono Petra, which is the monks on Mount Athos. Onas tone onon. Amen. All right, thanks.